Hi everyone, welcome back to Beauty by Trish, and today I am coming to you without a haul. I know, I'm proud of myself. I am so happy to be on the internet. All last week our internet was touch and go, touch and go, touch and go, and it was really hard to upload. And then, see, Kennedy's birthday was Saturday. I came home Saturday evening, no internet. We didn't have internet from Saturday evening, well, actually afternoon, because it was out when Jack was here too. Saturday afternoon until last night, it came back on. So I was so glad, because I'm like, that just bums me out. I couldn't watch anybody's video. I was already behind. I could get my phone to connect to YouTube, but that was it. Then it was just spinning and spinning, and then it would like start the video and then it would start spinning and spinning. Because I live out in the middle of nowhere, my internet service isn't that great. So, oops. Okay. So I am super glad to have my internet back and be able to get on here and chit chat with you guys. What's been going on? What has been going on? We had Kennedy's birthday party on Saturday, and it was amazing. And she is just, and I know all grandmas feel that way about their grandkids, but she is just perfect. I would do anything for her. And then I hung out at Mom's for a while afterwards and came home Sunday, I got up, started some laundry. It's funny how your house gets cleaner and your laundry gets done when you don't have internet. Oh, that's what I was kind of bummed about, because Saturday was the last day of the 20% off at Ulta. Yeah, so anyway, I didn't really need anything anyway. So then Sunday, I remembered that a girl that has one of our bloodhounds and one of my shepherds had said that she was boarding her two dogs down where I train. So I talked to the manager down there. She and I are good friends. And I went down and I got to walk and hang out and play with BB and Ammo. And yeah, so that was fun. I always like to get pictures or get to be able to see puppies that we have had and then sold on to their forever homes. So I was super glad that I got to see them. They look awesome. We have been blessed so many times by people that have given our dogs just perfect homes. So I am very blessed when it comes to that. I tell you, I watched a couple more of, when I was getting ready this morning, a couple more girls did the guilty pleasure tag. That is just so much fun. I really enjoy doing that tag. I like doing tag videos. It just seems like I just didn't have time to do when a bunch of them were going around. And it would be kind of lame to put them up now, so I guess there'll be more coming around. As we speak, my video is 96% uploaded. I finally got my makeup storage and organization video edited this morning, and it is a long one. I think it's like 30 minutes long, and I edited out as much as I could. And Jack laughed at me because in my little packing material corner over here, he said, you could have at least folded that paper or something. I didn't. I haven't had a couple things change. The little gold glass dish like this one. There was one like this that I had my little stainless steel palettes and my spatula in, and I knocked it off and broke it. So they're in that little white cubicle now. And then, and this is not going to stay like this, but I needed some place to put my dirty brushes. I used to put them in like a basket Well, then what happened was I would let that basket get completely full. And the one day I washed, see, there were 42 face brushes and 122 eye brushes. That's too much to wash at once. I want to get something maybe a little more flat. And you know those, you can get them at, I think I've seen them at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. And they're just like pleather on the outside. They come in black and brown, and there's like 3 dividers. And it's very like slimline. It would fit nicely right there. And then I can put my dirty brushes in and wash them more frequently. So, and I've really been liking this brush. I got this at TJ Maxx, and it just says the Vintage Cosmetics Company. And this dual fiber brush is kind of dense, but not overly so. And I've really enjoyed using it for blush a lot this week. And I know I didn't do a weekly favorites, but the internet was acting up and I just didn't have time. I just was really down last week. There is just this one thing I would love to talk about, but I don't know how to do it in a tactful way and do it without promoting a negative attitude, and I don't want to do that, so I just won't. I did want to tell you guys something that I thought of, and I had mentioned before about my other channel. I wasn't sure what to really do with it. It was going to be about, for a while it was going to be about grief and things like that, and it still could be, but I had posted once before, and maybe I know I've grown a lot since then, and thank you and welcome to all of my new subscribers. I'm having so much fun. I really am. I got really upset because I was really hoping, can I say really anymore? I was hoping so much that I could get caught up on my comments, and then the internet issues, and just, it has been crazy. It's just been crazy. And then, you know, I've always been very open and honest about my battle with depression. I do not let it win unless I'm just really down. But you guys have helped me so much through that. You really have no clue. I mean, there's times that I just don't feel like putting makeup on, and there's times I don't feel like doing anything. But then I know that I would miss on our comments and our conversations that we have down in the comment section, and that wouldn't help. And I've gotten so many nice comments and letters saying that I have helped somebody through something. And that is exactly why I started doing this. So what I thought was, my other channel is called Trish Talks. And I think I only have like 9 subscribers or something. But what I thought, because I literally, and there's a hair right here that is driving me crazy. I have literally been through so much in my life. And I don't say that as a poor me. I say that as in, I have always prayed that God would be able to use me to help somebody that was going through something bad, horrible, hard, whatever the case is. And I feel like anytime that I am told, or somebody writes to me and tells me that I've helped them in some way, it makes it easier. It makes it easier to get over grief. It makes it easier to get over some of the things from the back. You know, I share with you guys, and I don't remember in what video, I've been in a physical abuse situation, actually 2. I've been in mentally and emotionally abuse relationships, and I've survived them. And granted, I don't want anybody to be in that relationship, but I've always thought you can let it break you, or you can let it make you. And I let it make me who I am today. And I know there's people, sometimes I just feel led to talk about things and I don't know why. And so I'm just going to go with it. And hopefully there's somebody that's going to see this that really needs it. I know when I was in a really, really bad relationship, I was engaged to him. I was not married to him. Thank goodness it never went that far. But we did live together. And, you know, when I met him, he was like the perfect guy. He gave me the attention. He made me feel like a queen. He treated me so well. He was good to my daughters. He was not just, you know, the tall, dark, and handsome that you kind of, you know, most girls dream of. He was that. He was very big, very strong. But he was so tender and sweet and gentle. The other side. So he was amazing. I fell in love, or thought I fell in love. And he moved in with my daughters and I. And all of a sudden, our work schedules changed. And I was on the same shift. We were on the same shift. I honestly don't remember if he changed his or mine. But everybody was afraid of him because he was so big and so strong. And I had heard of this horrible temper, although I had never seen it. It was probably about 2 months into our lives together as a family after he had moved in. And it had changed completely. At first it was just little, you know, our schedules had changed. You know, we drove a good ways to work, so for gas reasons, you know, our schedules changed. But then eventually I was guilted into giving up my cell phone. I was guilted into all these things. But on the outside of that house, outside where there were people, you would have never known what was going on in the house. And I mean, if I could ever get more into that story and help somebody, I would be okay with that. I would never say names. I would never do that. But long story short, if you're in a relationship where there is emotional, and that's where it starts, mental goes there next, physical abuse, and controlling is in that, you don't want to talk to your friends. You don't want to talk to your family, because all they're going to do is tell you he's a bad guy and to get away from him, or to give you more grief because you're not getting away from him. And unless you've been in that type of a relationship, you really don't understand how, when it starts with emotion, when it starts with them getting you to think that they care, when they get you to think that they understand, and why did so-and-so who has known you, who has said that they cared about you, why did they not do anything for you at that time? And they almost, in your mind, make you question friendships, relationships that you've had your whole life, maybe with your parents, maybe with your siblings, maybe with close friends that you've had for years and years. And then it's to the point that you almost think, what would I do? How would I end this? And then there comes that time when you realize that you have to end it. That you have to, in some way, end the relationship before it destroys what's left of you. And I know personally from being in that relationship that it's terrifying. And maybe you're not to the point that you want to leave, but you're still afraid to talk to people. There is one young lady that has sent me a couple emails, and I'm sure that that is not a healthy relationship. But I talk with her because to me that's her reaching out, because that's the most important thing. If you're in a relationship like that, or if you have a loved one that is in a relationship like that, keep the lines open. Keep the lines open, because they have to have somewhere to grab when they reach. They have to. My oldest daughter was in a really bad relationship, and we tried everything to get her out of it. We tried everything. He would beat her, and I threatened him straight up, I'm coming after you. And, she would defend him. The more we would push, the more she would defend him. And then finally, when it was time, when she was ready, because it has to be when they're ready. It can't be any sooner. It has to be when they're ready. When she was ready, we stood with her. She went through, I don't know if they're all over or what they're called, but it was a domestic violence center. And they did have housing there if it was needed. But if it could be a gradual move, then they were there. They paid the first month, the last month, and a security deposit rent. And they went to court to petition for the domestic violence, to keep him away from her, which wasn't really she was a legal assistant, and, 3 of her attorneys went with her. It wasn't a big deal, but, you find yourself in these situations, or somebody you love or somebody could be in that relationship or in that situation before they realize they're there. And it's almost, in some cases, and it was not this way with me in either instance, but it was, in fact, with my daughters. When somebody kidnaps a child and then the child starts looking up to them, and I forget what it's called, but it's almost like that. They have you so low down. They have your self-esteem so far gone that you think you can't exist without them. But we got Samantha set up in a really nice apartment, and I just watched her bloom. I just watched her blossom into this beautiful woman that was living for the first time in 3 years. She was going somewhere or coming to see me or my mom, and she wasn't looking at her watch all the time like, I can't be late, I can't be late, I can't be late. And, it was a beautiful thing. But for those years, we tried to get her to leave or whatever. It was, to no avail, because she wasn't ready. But when she was, she did, and she blossomed into the beautiful woman that we all knew she was. And then she finally saw that she was. Now, in the relationship I told you about a little bit with myself, and I don't know why I'm getting into this heavy of a conversation, but with that relationship that I told you about, the hardest part was after. No, I did not miss him. No, I did not regret kicking him out. No, I did not regret any of that. I hated myself. It was months and months before I could look in the mirror again without despising what looked back at me. Because I was a strong, opinionated, sometimes quite bitchy woman. And I let this man trick me and turn me. I didn't even know what I was. I didn't even know who I could trust. And I knew I could never trust myself again. And I hated myself. I hated me more than I ever hated him. And it took me a long time to get over it. It took me a long time to get over it. And I was so desperate to get out of it. I did some really stupid things. And I would urge anybody that is in a relationship and wants to get out, have police officers there. Have friends or family there. Do not do it alone. That was, I'm just going to be real. I did not think I was going to get out of that relationship alive. I really did not. But I'm also the kind of person that I got into that relationship and I didn't want anybody else to suffer because of my choices, because of my decisions. So I didn't want anybody else there. Looking at it now, how long has it been? Looking at it now, 12 and a half, 13 years. It was really stupid. It was really stupid. And I think my guardian angels got a long vacation after this because it's only by the grace of God that I'm here. So please, if you are in a relationship, grab the hands that are reaching out. Don't do it alone. And if you are the parent of, the sibling of, the child of, or just a really good friend of someone that you know is in a bad relationship, just keep that door cracked. So when they know they want to open it, that you're going to be there. Doesn't mean you have to be there in their face, endangering yourself, making it worse on them. That's not what it means. There is a fine line towards letting somebody know how much you care and how much you love them and enabling them. Whether it be in a bad relationship, whether it be alcohol, drugs, gambling, any addictions, food addictions. So, yeah, gee, many crickets. I don't know where all that came from. But, yeah, apparently somebody needed to hear it. I'm sorry if that bored anybody else. There's times that even in friendships, I think we find that we enable things. We enable people. We enable actions. And that was, I think, one thing that really had me down last week. Because I knew that someone wasn't wanted, they are wanting people to think that they are. And I finally got validation and proof of that. And it just really bothers me, because sometimes I wish I was more like the old me and I would just say the what for. But I'm just not that way. Yeah, sometimes I wish I was. I just think things like that. I just think there's a line between calling somebody out and making it worse. Some people want to be professional victims, and that's so obvious. And I always want to, I just have a nurturing attitude, and I always want to take care of and help people. And with some people, they just, yeah, you think you're getting through to them, and then they just prove that that just runs too deep in them. The using, the manipulating, the lying, it just runs too deep. And that's sad. That's sad. So, you know, I tried. I did what I could. It is what it is. My mom laughs when I say that, because what can you do? It's like if you have somebody that you know needs help, that you can see they need help, but they won't help themselves, what are you going to do? It is what it is. That's kind of just the way I think. It's sad, but it's the way I think. It's like me wanting to lose weight. Well, I can get all the encouragement from the world, but until I start taking control of my lifestyle, my eating, you know, what is acceptable, what isn't acceptable, if I'm going to look and feel better, then why would I be able to cry? I shouldn't be able to whine about, oh, I need to lose weight, if I haven't changed anything. What is that saying? A sign of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. Is that right? I think that's right. I think that's right. But anyway, what I was going to say before all that, you never know what you're going to get when you tune in here, do you? What I was going to say before all that was, if you guys would like to, I have a post office box. It's in the description. I'll put it right here. Well, it'll probably be up here. Maybe it'll be over here. Over here. There. In my email. I'm going to post it to somewhere around here. And I'll put it down here. And if you guys have things, like if you want to send me an email and I'll read it, like, I don't know, this channel, the other channel, you guys tell me. And I will not, it'll be anonymous. I would not say anything. I mean, I had told you guys, I think I only said it in like a couple of videos way back in the day, that if you guys wanted, you know, to send me a letter and we talk about it on that channel or whatever. But if you guys have things going on, just maybe things you need to get off your chest, if you have situations and you want advice, so let me know if you guys would be interested in that. Shoot me some emails. If you want to snail mail it, then, you know, that information will be down there too. But I would love if that would be helpful. You know, I know there's people that have suffered losses. If you want to talk about loss, if you want to talk about divorce, if you want to talk about, like if all of a sudden if you fall in love with somebody that has kids, you have kids, the kids getting along, you know, it was easier for me because my girls were adults. Basically, when Jack and I got together, Hunter was 9 and he's 18 now. So, yeah, but anything you want to talk about, if you want advice, an opinion, if there's things subjects you would like me to talk about, I will not mention any names, nothing like that. So, yeah, just let me know. Shoot me an email or snail mail. Don't be shy. If there's anything that you would like to share with me, talk with me. If it's just something you want to be personal and you do not want a video done on it, like I said, no matter what, it's not, your name will not be mentioned. But if you don't even want it talked about on a video, then please make sure you write that it's private, that you do not want a video on this. You just want communication between you and myself. That's fine too. But there's a whole bunch of stuff that, I would be willing to talk about. I was the oldest, I thought. I was the oldest until I was 4, almost 4, and my mom had my sister. And, growing up, especially back in the day, growing up with a special needs sibling is a very different growing up. And especially then, they really wanted my parents to put her in a home. And my parents refused. And it was a very different childhood, but it was a very blessed childhood. And I would not trade my sister for anything. And even though I'm older, she's definitely my hero. She has been through so much. So much. And then when I was right before my 16th birthday, I found out I had an older half-sister. And so I met her and my 2 nephews and her husband. And she looks just like my dad. And then, see what happened. I got married to my girl's dad and had Samantha. And then I had Jackie. Jackie was 3 months old. And my dad had a massive stroke in the base of his neck. That left him unable to walk, talk. Yeah. So for 5.5 years, my mom took care of him at the house, and my sister and my grandmother, who had hardening of the arteries. And then, like I said, 5.5 years, my dad passed. And that was a huge adjustment for my mom and my sister, because I was married, had 2 little kids. By this time, I was trying to get a divorce from the girl's dad, and that was drug out forever. And there were 3 in the first year of our separation. There were 3 domestic violence petitions sworn out. I did 1, and the police officers did 2. Finally got divorced, and was not a partier. I was a hard worker. I was a single mom, took care of my girls. My mom watched them when I worked. I'm just telling you guys all this, so if you're sitting there thinking, oh, you would never understand anything, well, I have such a wide range. If I don't touch on something, you're going to understand. I've been through enough, and I'm only skipping. I'm just highlighting the bigger parts. fell in love with the boy next door, boy that I grew up with, but didn't really have a lot to do because there were some issues that he had drinking and he had quit. So we got married, had a great family. I mean, we made a great little family. He started drinking. Then there were drugs. And I'd always told him that if you hit me, I'm gone. He's a big guy. Jack's a little guy. But he was a big guy. And I love his dad and stepmom. And to this day, I am still very close to them. He does not contact them. Not because of that, but because he is drinking himself to death. Which is sad, but aggravating in the same sense. Because you just know how much potential and what a great person is in there. But like I said, you can't do it for them. But, and I still call him Dad. My ex-father-in-law is very ill right now and was not able to come to Kennedy's party on Saturday. And we understand, but it was still hard because we're very close to him. And he still calls me his daughter. He's been out here to our farm. They came to my wedding when I married Jack. And yeah, so one night, bad decisions, and I left. So that was hard for me to get over because I loved him so much, and I kept thinking if I loved him enough that he wouldn't want to drink. And that's just not the way it works. It's not that easy. It's not that easy at all. And I do know, and he has told me since, that if he could have stopped for anyone for that reason, it would have been for me and the girls. But it was just bigger than us. And sadly enough, he has no desire not to. And talked to his brother not too long ago, and he's very worried. So, boy, I'm really keeping it real on this video, aren't I? I think that's why within a year, I was seeing the guy I spoke of earlier that was so abusive. And my ex, we stayed friends. I just wouldn't talk to him when he was drinking. But I think that's why I fell for my fiance. I don't think, and that's why I said if it was love, because maybe I was rebounding. Then there was a stepfather brought in. My mom fell in love and married a guy from church. And my dad was very, I go to work, I make the money, you take care of the kids, you cook, you clean, and, you know, whatever else. Very old-fashioned. It was always a meat and potatoes kind of meal. And I could still eat a good steak every night, you know what I mean? And when she married my stepdad, he was 60 and she was 59. And they would hold hands and they would go on dates, and they were like two teenagers in love. It was amazing to watch. It really was. It was kind of disgusting sometimes, you know, because, but no, not really. So they got married. He took her to Israel because she always wanted to go to Israel. So about the time that I ended my second marriage, my stepbrother at that time, he's still my stepbrother, he gave me away when I got married to Jack. He and his wife ended, and he was staying with my mom and his dad, and I was staying with my mom and her new husband. And then we had 2 girls each. I had Samantha and Jackie, and he had his 2 girls, and they were like stair stack. They were 13, 14, 15, and 16. But they got along. They really did. They got along, so that was fine. And we had a lot of good memories, and I got a lot of good laughs. And my stepdad bought a little place and fixed it up for the girls and I because he wanted to make sure I wasn't going to go back with my ex because he had quit drinking again. The girls and I moved there, and we had a lot of good memories in that little place. We really did. And yeah. So then I went through the abusive relationship and got that ended finally. And it wasn't just like, I said leave and he left. It was a horrible experience. And so, once again, if you're going through a horrible experience, don't think that you can't make it out. Think long, think hard, think smart, and don't do it alone. There must really be somebody that needs that because I don't know why I keep saying it. So that was done and over, and I just worked, and Samantha had moved in with my mom when my stepdad passed away. He got cancer, started as melanoma. Within a very short time, it had spread. He didn't find it. It was on his back until it was stage 5+, and it went to his brain. It was scaringly fast. So Samantha moved in there, and Jackie and I had our little place, and it was a little place, but it was fine for me and the girls and our dogs. And we had 2 little rescues, 2 cats, and our Roddy Chance. And Chance is the one that Jackie just lost. He was 12 and a half. But life was good, and I met Jack, and I had told him that I wanted nothing serious. We shared a love for animals. He had a deer farm. I had never heard of a deer farm. He had bloodhounds. I didn't know what bloodhounds were. I was very much a Rottweiler or go home kind of girl. And yeah, we started talking, and we would hang out, and he was great company. We were good friends. And then it just kind of, I was still saying no, and he was still saying, you want to. And it came time for his bloodhound to have puppies, and I had never experienced that. So I stayed when she started labor, and he was starting his own business. The next day, see, she was in labor for like 18 hours, which I guess is not long for a bloodhound. It was a long time to me. I was like, what? I thought they just like boom, 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 boom. We're done. Everybody go to sleep. And I think the puppies were almost 2 days old, and she bloated. We rushed her to the vet, and they did surgery, and she died overnight. So I was running my house in Bridgeport, trying to take care of Jackie, senior year in high school. bottle feeding puppies every 2.5 to 3 hours so they would stay alive and working full time. So I was here because I couldn't take them there because my dogs and new puppies, you just don't do that. And I never left. So it was a huge adjustment going from the city to the country, 2 city girls to a country boy, and he was all boy. And we've had our good times and we've had our bad times. And we've had some really rocky times. Yeah, we're still here, and actually I think we're more connected and we're better than we were. So that's my life, and it's good. It makes me happy, and I have a beautiful daughter and an amazingly perfect granddaughter. I have an awesome son-in-law that loves nothing more than to take care of my daughter and my granddaughter, and takes that very seriously. I have a stepson that is an amazing young man, and I pray daily that he will become an amazing man. I have a mom who has been my best friend as long as I can remember. You know, she's gets a little forgetful, gets upset with herself. I can handle the forgetfulness. I just don't like it when she gets upset with herself for it. And then I have my sister, who's a brat. Tef is special needs, but she, as is on her file, is the most independent special needs person they've ever met. She only has the use of her left hand. She's been in a wheelchair her whole life. And eventually, you know, I will move in, and Jack and I talked about this before we got married, you know, I'm all they got. So eventually I'll be moving in to help in, you know, just to make sure that things go smoothly. My mom deserves to rest more and stress less as she gets older. And yeah, so I tell her all the time, she needs to be nice or I won't let her go to a home. I'll take care of her. I don't know why I felt the need to tell you guys all of that. Oh my gosh. Now I'm going to go down to 4 subscribers or something. It is what it is. If I can help, give opinions, comments, suggestions, if anything I just mentioned in my life made you want to know more, then I can do that also. Yeah, just once again, my email and my snail mail both will be down below. If you don't want it on a video, then please make that clear that you do not want it on a video. If you don't care, then, like I said, your name's not going to be mentioned anyway. So, yeah. Okay. This has been like almost an hour. Really don't know why I felt the need to go into all that. And my eye is getting so much better. Can you guys see? See my eye? I know. That is what happens when you accidentally get your eye cream in your eyes, and your eye's sensitive. Yeah, it hurt very much bad. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it for now since I rambled for that long. But I thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. This is Monday, the 13th, and I want to get this edited and up here in the morning. I'm going to jump off here and check on this, my storage and collection video, and make sure that gets up for you guys. If there's any other videos, I'm still on my calendar to do the Kat Von D Foundation, and also, or did I do that? The Kat Von D Foundation and the eye look with the Anastasia palette. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that If somebody out there needed to hear something that I talked about, that it touched your heart, and that you feel not alone. So that's the worst thing, is to feel alone. And when you go through stuff, bad stuff, feeling alone is even so much worse. Okay, guys, thank you again for watching. I love you all. Thank you for bearing with me through my ramble sessions, and I will talk to you in the next video.